Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome to the AskSilas show. And like you can see on your screen right now, I have my real boss. She thinks I'm her boss, but she's my real boss. So I have my real boss, Madam Chinonye Ngwobia. This is your name. I'm trying to get it, but
Ngwobia.
Madam UK. Let's
Yes,
leave
I
it
know
at
that, but
Madam
you
UK.
say Madam UK.
So how have you been? How's it going?
Very fine. I'm very good, thank God. I'm fine.
Okay, so how's business? How's everything? How's you know?
Well,
And
we're
how
moving.
are my babies?
Everyone is fine. We're pushing it, but then everyone is fine, thank God.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, so basically, the Outsider Show talks about business growth, how to help entrepreneurs share our story, and one of the things I've been following what you've been doing on LinkedIn. One of the things you've been hammering on is on mentorship and mentoring, and I've been wondering how that would help and facilitate the growth of business. All right. So before we go ahead, before we just jump right into it, for those of you watching right now, because I can see that people have started joining the stream. For those of you watching right now, Madam Chinoye helps employers to attract, engage, and retain their best talents. Because for those of us in the entrepreneurship space, we know that we can't do it alone, and retaining some of the best people is one of our biggest challenge, because you bring them up, you train them, and then boom, they just take off and all of that. So those are some of the things that I was thinking of why I came up with this. Is just more or less, can I say this is like season 3 of the AskSilas show, because I've been on break for a while, but I just thought to start sharing ideas on the show again. Welcome on the show. Thank you so much for showing up on such short notice.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Okay, so for those of you watching, this show will be available here on Facebook. It will also be available on YouTube and everywhere you get your podcasts. So from Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, wherever, anywhere in the world, on Spotify or anywhere. Um, So what have you been up to? It's been a while. Like, on the talking points I have where we do a little bit of catch up. So I want to really know, what have you been up to? You just, because for a moment there, it was as if you just disappeared on me. Where did you disappear to?
Well, it's not like I disappeared, but then probably from Facebook, because I know I used to be
Okay.
quite active on Facebook, but then
Okay.
it's important for you to understand where your clients are and
Okay.
to put in your energy there. So I asked
Yeah.
myself, is it proper? Is it right for me to dissipate my energy everywhere? Or is it to,
No.
focus on a place and really bring, make the best from it? And that was why I
Okay.
decided to go on LinkedIn. And that's why a lot of people initially when I left Facebook, they just kept asking what's happening. I hope you're fine and things like that. But then I've been active on LinkedIn and that's where my clients are. So
I,
that's
I
my
think I can officially say that you are the queen of LinkedIn as it is right now. Because
oh my
because you are
goodness.
doing,
That
you
one,
think
no, no,
you
no.
think you think some
Okay.
of us don't see what you do. We see what you do,
You.
but you are doing really amazing there. Really, I've learned a lot. I've connected with new people there through you, and I'm building connections and all of that. So yeah, you're doing amazing. So I can cannot be the queen of LinkedIn.
Oh well, okay. Thank you for that.
All
Okay.
right. So let's dive right into it. So today we are just going to have a conversation. It's not really like an interview, even though this is going to be on the show and published and all. But I just really want us to have a conversation around mentorship and business growth. So for those of you watching, if you have a question, you can leave questions in the comments, whether you are watching live or you are watching the replay or you are listening on any of the podcast platforms. You can always send questions around this. I'll share it with Madam Chinoye. The email to send the question to is ozoyasilas@gmail.com, or you just send ask@ozoyasilas.com. Either of them, I'll get the questions. So tell us about your mentorship journey and what's your story? Why mentorship? Because you and I, backstory, we both know that we used to be employees, we used to work somewhere and everything. And then when you went full time, you've just been hammering on mentorship in the last 1 or 2 years, or maybe 3 years now. So I'm very curious, why mentorship? What's the story for you? What's the backstory to that?
Okay, so as you said, I worked in Zenith Bank, before I left the organization. And
Okay.
while I was at the bank, I noticed that okay, first of all, every person, when you're getting into a space, you are quite
Yeah.
excited because you're going to
Mm.
start earning money and, salary and taking care of yourself and probably people you love. But the truth of the matter
Yeah.
is that most times when people are getting into that space, they don't make plans. They don't really have plans. We just have that thing, a wish in our minds that, oh,
Mm.
we're going to grow, we're going to become managers, we're going to become maybe executives, we're going to be
Yeah.
um, there. In fact, when I joined the bank, then at the time, my bank was doing both promotion and what they call title adjustment. So title adjustment
Okay.
means that you're not just getting a promotion, you could get a double or triple promotion, based
Oh
on your
wow.
performance. So that kind of
Mm.
information, I felt, oh, it's going to be growth, growth, growth. But then it took me, it was like a shock to me for me to get into the bank, and I started struggling. First of all, being the kind of person I am, I started enrolling in a lot of things. I started getting involved in a lot of things. My aim was to grow. So, but nobody
Okay.
told me, aligned my path to tell me, okay, this and this were the things that you're supposed to do to grow in this, your sector where you are right now. So
Yeah.
you can
Okay.
imagine me, I enrolled in NIIT, Oracle, I enrolled in I did my NIM, I enrolled just different things. I was just enrolling myself in certifications and all that. And each one, I pay almost everything. And by the time we are done halfway, I feel, oh, this is not it for me, So it just was getting a lot of, I was getting disappointed, like, oh, so what exactly, where is my path? What should I do? And I found that this, if someone had helped me at the time, you understand? I
Mm.
would have I would have been a high flyer. But then because I didn't
Okay.
have anybody to guide me, I didn't have anybody. So I was making all the mistakes, the trial and error, and that was it. So by the time I was leaving the bank, I hadn't grown
Yeah.
to the state I wanted to grow. And
Okay.
I felt disappointed, but then I said, okay, I'm going to make it in the business world. Before I left the banking industry, I had started off two things I was doing along, while I was working. And I felt, oh, this is
Okay.
going to, once I leave the banking industry, it's going to be like, boom, I'm going to make it here. And you can imagine the shock when after I left the banking industry and focused on these things and found out one of them was like I was bringing in my sister and I would bring in things and I would sell and all that. So
Yeah.
the dollar
Okay.
rate and everything, this was like I left the banking industry 2013. The dollar rate was
Oh,
affected me, and even my own business that I was doing too.
yeah.
So that one had nothing to do with dollar rate, but I was becoming, kind of tired while doing it, getting
Mm.
into it and struggling and all that. It's not like if you stay at something, you're not going to make it. But I didn't still have someone who would actually hold my hand and walk me through the path. You understand? I
Okay.
didn't have that person I
Yeah.
could go to talk to, and the person would tell me, okay, I made the same mistakes. These are the things you can do to avoid the mistakes and everything. So
Yeah.
it was something at the end of the day, I just told myself, oh, maybe I'm just getting this all wrong. Maybe I should just go back and start working for people and all that. But then I came in touch with um, I was reading somewhere online. I can't remember the particular blog where I saw
Okay.
this thing about mentorship, and I was like, "Wow, this is exactly what I need." This is what I need because at that time, okay, what I read had something to do with. They were saying that your mentor was going to help you shorten your learning curve. Your mentor was
Yeah.
going to be an idea, where you bounce off your ideas,
Mm-hmm.
and it talked about your mentor being you know, like the go-to expert in that thing that you're doing. And I was like, this is exactly what I need. This is what I need. So I
Mm.
started looking out for mentors. I started looking out for mentors. First of all, that time I said where I was in the city of Bayelsa, and I started looking out for mentors, but I couldn't find any mentor there at the time. And
Okay.
again, I now started looking out for mentors online. I still couldn't find mentors online, you know.
Okay.
So after I relocated back to Port Harcourt, you know,
Yeah.
I now went for an event, and as I walked into the event, the guest speaker that was introduced was someone I've always wanted to mentor me. I was like, wow, this is it. So immediately after the class, I tried to answer questions just to get her attention. Immediately after the class, I ran outside to wait for her so that once she comes out, I'll quickly walk up to her and tell her, please, ma, I really need you to mentor me and all that. So
Okay.
of course, came out, I put out my best smile, everything, introduced myself and told her. But then she told me she was very busy and that at the
Mm.
time I didn't do that. And you can imagine my disappointment and everything.
So sorry.
I kept doing trial log and all that until I eventually
Mm.
found how to go about getting my mentor, and the rest has really been history. And the truth of the matter is that those things I learned, those things I saw online, has been my
Yeah.
testimony. I've seen it has been my testimony where I have people right now that I can talk to as in
Okay.
regard things like maybe family. I have someone I can talk to there.
Okay.
Um, Business, I have someone I can talk to there. Spirituality, I have someone. So it's just it makes your life easier for you. Mentorship makes your life
So
easier.
basically you could have one mentor for different aspects of your life as
Yes,
it
yes,
is.
yes.
From
So
what
a
you are
lot of times
saying.
it's not double for many things. So a mentor can actually
Okay.
be a financial mentor, but you see them doubling, maybe also being um, family mentor or life mentor. Someone who
Okay.
also advises you on other things based on their wealth of knowledge in those areas.
On knowledge and experience and all of that.
Yeah,
Okay, so
yes,
now bringing all of this that you've just shared with us, and let us bring this all to business as it is, because my focus always is how to grow businesses and all of that. So now let us draw all of this down to growth in business. How can this how does this affect the growth of business from your point of view as per an organization?
okay,
How, let's bring it down now to like an organization. Like I run a business, for example. How can what you've just explained now, how can it help the growth of our business?
okay. So let me just also tell a story, a bit of it. But this is
Okay.
something that is common. I'm sure you are familiar with the story about Igbo mentorship. That's what people
Okay.
call it here. We
Yeah.
call it Ogananwa boy, or some people call it here. Ogananwa boy
Okay.
basically means master and apprentice, right?
Okay.
So usually what happens is, okay, I have this uncle that usually, okay, first of all, he was picked from the village
Okay.
by an influential man, and
Mm.
the person brought him to the city. Of course, the person went to the family and they had an agreement. Of the family also looked into this man's life and his
Yeah.
business and thought, okay, this is a good person we can send our son to learn from.
Okay.
So he stayed with this man for a couple of years that had been agreed by the family. And at the end of the day,
Mhm.
while he's there, he's picking up a lot of things, business acumen, how to run a business, the strategies, how to come up with ideas, how to collaborate, partnership. All these things are things that people go to business schools to learn, right?
Okay.
And you pick
Yeah.
all this up. Then at the end of the day, at the agreed time, the
Mm-hmm.
master does not send him out empty handed, but starts him off with a seed capital, which has been
Mm.
agreed upon by their
Okay.
by the family,
Families.
known as family. So you see, this
Yeah.
person is not starting from scratch to go and start. He already has contacts. He already
Mm.
has, you know, he has someone he can also always fall back to and ask questions in case he
Okay.
doesn't make mistake, or he before he makes mistakes as well. Then again,
Okay.
he has people he can actually merge money with to do his shopping and just a number of things. And guess what? My
Mm.
uncle started paying this forward. So when
Okay.
he started working, he also now went forward to get boys again from his place.
Hmm.
And that is how they have been doing it. So every organization that cannot work, I always tell people that every organization is a human construction. So without
Okay.
humans in the organization, it will not thrive. And these humans, when they are coming in, they have expectations. They
Hmm.
come in with their expectations. So if you're saying, oh, come and work for me, and you're focusing only on what they are doing for you, you are getting it wrong. These
Hmm.
humans have expectations that may not be tied to the business, and also they have expectations that are tied to the business. Some of their expectations that may not be tied to the business could be their mental health,
Hmm.
though this indirectly is tied to the business. But what I mean is the employee main
Agreements or catch
yes,
or contract does not state all
is
of
not
those things clearly.
exactly is not part of it. So, but then they also have the expectation that you're going to now one of the expectations they have is that while they are working, you would also be training them so that they can get better at their work and things like that. And all these things,
Okay.
when you combine it, both their emotional health, their health, as it is, physical health, um, you know, how they are learning and all that, everything
Hmm.
ties to everything at the end of the day. If you don't get it right as an employee, the person is going to leave you the next day. The person
Hmm.
is already thinking about leaving you. And
So
now,
it's not just
remember,
about
the
so it's not just
workforce,
about high salaries.
okay, so now millennials are coming into the workforce, right?
Yeah.
And generation, the baby boomers are leaving the workforce.
Hmm. Yeah.
And one thing with studies that have been carried out on millennials, we found out that a high percentage of millennials would choose their mental health and would choose learning, having a mentor, having someone who would guide them at work over even the salary. Yes, they want their salary good, but they want to grow. They want to excel. They want to, they want to um, they want to become people. They don't want to stay
Okay.
with you forever. Even if they want to stay with you
Okay.
forever, make it worthwhile. You
Okay.
understand? So
Okay.
you have to look into those expectations. And that is where mentoring comes in because mentoring can actually help with those expectations,
Hmm.
right?
Okay.
Right
Okay.
now,
Okay.
organizations are talking about their businesses, suffering because of learning and development that has not been going
Yeah.
on,
Yeah.
and all that. But then people have started adopting virtual learning and things like that. And
Yeah.
mentoring has also gone virtual. So it must
Yeah.
not be
I'm going to come to that actually. I'm going to come to that.
okay. So it must
Yeah.
not be that the person has to be there physically with you. I've structured mentoring programs for people that are scattered all over the country. So it's
Interesting.
not about person being there physically. So every organization needs to realize this. If you want to grow, then your people must grow.
Hmm.
And for your people must grow to grow. If you want your people to grow, then you have to start looking at how to cater for them both within the organization and outside of it.
Organization. Awesome. Awesome. So, the kind of structure you're explaining right now, the layman will just believe, or the regular business person will just believe, okay, so this is just for big organizations, big corporations. It doesn't concern us that are small and medium scale businesses. Does this also affect the small and medium scale businesses who hire, say, between 5 to 50%? And if it does, how does this affect the growth of their business? Let us narrow it down to small and medium scale business owners like myself, for example. All right. So let us narrow it down, and let us, paint out a scenario, a practical scenario, how we could implement this mentorship for our business to grow in our small and medium scale businesses.
Okay, so even for a small and a small and medium scale business is even easier than for
Oh, oh,
big or
really?
organizations that have to bring in maybe mentoring softwares and things like that to enable them work.
Okay. Okay.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I can. Go ahead.
Okay, so I said it's easier for a small and medium scale business than it is for
Oh,
even bigger organizations, because for bigger organizations they would need to bring in software to
okay.
enable the mentorship go on. So, first of all, you need to understand or you need to find out exactly your business goal. What are the objectives of the business? What do you want to achieve in that business? So,
Okay.
if you get what your business goal is, okay. So, assuming your business goal is to maybe you're a skin company, you want to, your niche is the elderly ladies. I'm just using
Okay.
an example. So,
Yeah, that's
um, assuming that's the people that you cater for, and you want more of these people to realize that their skin can do better and things like that, right? So,
yeah.
um, you now have to find an organization that is doing well in that, right?
Yeah.
One, okay, let me just continue with this flow. So you find out an organization that is doing well at that. And if the organization is into mentoring, a lot of times they do. Because I've gone when I was doing this mentoring research, I find organizations that link me to another organization that links me to another. At the end of the day, you find out that you are being linked to a Fortune 500 organization, right?
Wow.
And most of these Fortune 500 organizations, they started off mentoring maybe a small group of people and eventually grew it into the entire organization. So
Okay.
you find out an organization that is doing well at this, probably is a big, maybe a very large organization, Dangote, whether it's in Nigeria or outside of Nigeria. And now find out,
Mm.
look at their structure. If it's something that you want, then okay, now this is where we come in. So when we come in, we look at your organization and we look at um, where you want to be.
All
You
right.
can do this on your own, no. Before people will say, "Oh, must I bring you in?" No, you can do this on your own. Look at these
Okay.
things, and probably their goals align with yours. Then find out
Okay.
exactly how they're doing it, because we learn faster from others, from
Oh,
people's
yeah.
examples. Because if you want to go and start, structuring your own on your by yourself, you may dabble into error
A
and
lot of
things like that.
mistakes.
Instead, if you
Yeah.
not bring it next time. So just research the organization and find out how they've been able to grow and things like that. So if at the end of the day you found out that okay, now the organization is always into training or mentoring of the people that they bring in, maybe they are young people, or maybe they are doing reverse mentoring.
Yeah.
Reverse mentoring means when the younger generation is mentoring a higher generation, a bigger, maybe um, an older generation. Let's say millennials are mentoring baby boomers, right?
Mm.
So whatever the structure that they are doing, you bring it down and see if you can handle it within your organization. But then always simplify it. But this is
Mm.
this is what I tell people. Once you have found out exactly what you want within your
Yeah.
organization, assuming
Yeah.
now that skin company, right? And
Yeah.
you have people who are working with you. Now,
Look.
what knowledge do you want to pass across to them? What
Mm.
skill, what expectations do you want them? What is your expectation of them at the end of your mentoring
Oh,
program?
okay.
What is the objective at the end of the mentoring program, right? So probably you want to grow these youngsters to become leaders, thought leaders in the skin industry. So you want them to
Mm.
be your representatives. You want them to carry out skin research and things like that. Remember that mentorship always grows an organization. So probably you want to
Yeah.
grow this people and all that. So now, what avenue do you want to do? Are there people within the organization, or is it only you that can help them grow in this area. A lot of times, small businesses may want to just do it by themselves. Yes, you have the knowledge, but then while you are learning, you need to bring these people in. So if there are new things that you are learning, you need to bring them in. But now, if there are things you already know, you need to structure a timing within a month, maybe once or twice within a month, where you can actually sit down with these people and talk with them, find out what they are experiencing as they are trying to either sell, market, or brand this skin product,
Okay.
right? Or service. So you find out from them whatever challenge it is that they are having, you people can talk it over, or if you have an expert that you can bring in and help you with it. But the sorry, being the boss there, probably you have more than 70% of the questions, like the answers to the questions. You help
Yeah.
them with, right? And as you help them with it, sometimes go out with them and talk to people. So they are learning by watching you and things like that.
Yeah.
One thing I found out in Nigeria with there was this startup that we are consulting for, and the man was like, I know it's too much now. How can I bring these people in to start learning this thing? They will leave me and go. They will leave me. But then I asked him, I
That's the
said,
fear.
okay, so first of all, I told him that every employee is a potential
Okay.
threat to your business. You need to know that every employee is a potential threat to the business, because the truth of the matter
Can you
is that
imagine that?
they are learning, and a lot of them have expectations that if they are not meeting it within your organization, they will go out there and either offer it to another organization, or they can start up their own thing. But
Hmm.
then what do you want people to see your organization as? Do you want people to see your organization, or do you want your organization to be known for hoarding knowledge and the employees don't know anything?
Hmm.
Or you want them to know this organization as an organization that is doing so well that even as employees are leaving, better ones with more potentials are coming in? Because one thing you need to realize is that you attract the kind of employees you attract is directly
Yeah.
proportional to how you treat the ones that have been there. The welfare of the
Wow.
ones there, and the growth of the ones that have been there.
Hmm. Hmm.
You understand? So if you feel that you are holding knowledge from them, they feel that they are
Yeah.
missing something and they want to go, and they will not say good things about your organization. They will not say, when I left the organization where I was working,
Yeah.
one day I was even so curious. Glasgow, glass, is it glass door? I think it's glass door or glass. I've forgotten what it is, but it's an online consulting firm that finds out things about organizations. So they sent me this
Yeah.
message, okay, where do you work, and rate the organization where you work.
Yeah.
You understand? So, and I did it. And each time I see people who rate their organizations, and these things either mark your organization down because people do it anonymously. So this thing
Yeah.
either marks your organization or it rates it high. And apart from that, the word of mouth is even worse. When people can actually say terrible things about your organization, oh, God forbid, work there. I know a particular bank in this country that, in as much as people that go there are people who are just starting out life, that just say, oh, at least let me be in an organization. But once they get there, they start looking for a way out,
Hmm.
because they don't treat their staff well. Staff welfare is not good. So these are the things that you consider. So you don't start looking at, oh, if I teach them, they will leave. No, if you don't teach them, you'll be working with people who don't know anything, who will embarrass your organization, and at the end of the day, people will still
Say,
not patronize
say
you, and
bad,
you end
say
up
bad things
firing
about you.
what?
I said they will not go out and say bad things about your organization,
Yes, and
and that
one
in
thing is
turn
that you're not
affects the
training
growth.
them. Exactly, and since you're not training them, your organization will never grow. Remember that
Hmm.
humans they are the structure within the organization. Your organization will not
Yeah.
grow. So apart from them bad mounting, your organization will still suffer, and people will now link link the organization to what people are saying about it, and you won't have good talents.
Wow.
So the
Wow.
people who will be
This is
coming to you at the end of the day, if you put out, oh,
mm,
we are hiring, will just be anyhow kind of employees. The employees who are not, who don't really have the potential to work there. So
interesting.
doing that training and doing that mentoring for them is very, very essential. So now when you have found
Oh,
out the objectives and all that, if
yeah.
within the organization you have at least two or three people that can mentor
Mm,
others, maybe
yeah.
you have one person who can take people on sales, while you
Okay.
have another person who can take people on IT, maybe branding or things
Mm,
like that. Maybe you now have
yeah.
a third person who can take people in the operations of the business and
Yeah.
administration or something like that.
Mm,
What you must do is to put people under them, because you never can tell when these people will leave your organization.
yeah. To
Place
understudy
people
them.
under them. Yes, you place people under them so that they can start passing that knowledge down.
Hmm.
So as they're passing that knowledge down, let those people that they're passing it to start paying it forward in case there are other people that come in within the organization. Let them start paying it forward. Let them just go out there and start also training others. So that at the end of the day, if one person or two people are not available, other people can cover their space. Because I found this thing happens a lot of times in startups that once
Yeah.
maybe two people that are very good in IT decide to leave, then the whole thing crumbles. Then you start
Yeah.
from scratch, you can start bringing people and all that. So you have to bring in people as, you know, the main person there, the go to expert there should start training
Mm,
them, should start, it must not be everything, but then let them have a good foundation of what they are supposed to be doing in that area.
awesome. Awesome. So before we go to the next question, if you are watching now, if you are listening, you can see in the description, you can support this show. Obviously, it's not a charity, so we spend money to run the show and everything. So we will really appreciate your support. You can check any of the links or means to support this show. We just got back on the show and we are bringing Madam Chinonye. I believe you'll be getting value. So if you'll be getting value, it will be nice for you to support the show. So I just thought to throw that in before we continue. And really, before we go on again, Madam Chinonye, thank you so much for coming and sharing this much value uh, with us. And it was really short notice. I really appreciate you for coming. Now, based on what we've experienced in 2020, especially, work has gone remote, work has gone virtual. This is true for me. I run a company, and my company right now, we totally operate about 80% remotely. Then for a lot of other people, because of the pandemic and everything, organizations and startups are now beginning to adopt remote and virtual work. I know you touched it a little bit earlier about mentoring virtually. How can this be incorporated into the standard operating system or the standard operations or procedure of the organization, so that it is there just the same way we have like the in-service training or the regular once in a quarter live training that we used to have? With the pandemic, we can no longer do that. So how can we incorporate this since we now mostly work remotely and virtually?
Okay, so basically, for you to be running a mentoring program within your organization, at least your mentee should be able to reach you at the least twice in a month. And twice
Okay.
means have challenges and things like that, they can actually reach you. So usually before um, setting up this program, one of the first meetings that you have with the mentee is to set down ground rules and set down the things, the way they can reach you and things like that. So the best way to communicate with you if they are facing challenges, right? So if
Okay.
the best way by mail or by text and all that. But then at the beginning of every month, you should actually send out 2 free days within the month.
Okay.
Maybe the first day
Okay.
will fall in the first 2 weeks, and the other day will fall in, where you can actually sit down with them and find out, their progress, their expectations for the month, and even their challenges, and discuss it.
Okay.
So this thing can take place in any virtual room, whether it's Google Teams or Zoom or any of these virtual rooms. Sometimes as well, instead of waiting to do that Zoom, you can just have this thing where your employees can send in questions or send in challenges, and you answer via a video and send back to them, or answer via
Okay.
an audio and send back to them. So you still let them know if they are facing more challenges, they should let you know. But then that interaction between the mentor and the mentee should be there. The mentee should always be able to read the mentor, especially when they are facing challenges, so that the mentor can help them, shorten that call. Because a lot
Cough.
of times when people are struggling doing trial log, they enter a lot of errors, and at the end of the day, the organization suffers for it. So as a mentor within the organization, you should make it easy for people to reach out to you. So in whatever mode that you have decided, whatever communication mode, always give feedback on time. Always give
All right.
feedback on time, so that you enable them to carry out their work effectively.
So, do you think because this is virtual, would that reduce the efficacy of the mentoring program, or the alternative? Do you think that some of these mentees might take that as a yardstick to abuse access to their mentors? Because
Okay,
that most of the time is the fear. That is the fear sometimes that some of these people will abuse the access that they now have.
okay. So the efficacy is very good. It has nothing to
Okay.
do with whether, in fact, for me, most of the people that I've ever done mentoring for is always people that I've never even seen. I've never seen them.
Oh.
You
Okay.
understand? So the important thing is that commitment and willingness to learn.
All
So
right.
if the person is committed and willing to learn, but then that abuse part, that's why I said setting ground rules. That is one of the
Okay.
things we do at the beginning of the mentorship program. You have to set down the ground rules. If there are times, if after 7 p.m. you don't want them to reach you, you have to set it down. Because I've
Okay.
had people complain. I've had a lady complain that the mentee is a guy, calls 11 o'clock at night sometimes,
Yeah.
you know,
My point
and maybe
exactly.
what exactly, and maybe things that he will be asking are things that you can find on Google. So
Tell me about it. Tell me about it. I've had issues with some of the people I mentor. Beyond sharing this with my audience and sharing, I'm also learning. If you notice, I'm taking notes here. You get, because I face some of these challenges. Like I said, because I run a business and I work with people, I work with young people. Sometimes some of the things that they ask, I would just hold my head like, this thing is there now. It's right in front of you. Why are you doing this to me? Why are you being wicked? You get. So, but then again, sometimes I just feel like, oh, okay, the person probably truly doesn't know. You get, and they want. But then look at the time. This is my family time. Why will you be reaching me by this time? And all. So,
family time is even good. Times that she's sleeping, like she gets home and she's very tired, the whole Lagos traffic, and she gets home
ah,
and she picks up maybe about that time
crazy.
11 something, and then she gets a call. And she's thinking it's something serious. She gets out of bed, quickly picks the call, thinking it's something very, very serious, only for the person to start asking, oh, madam, I'm reading this thing right now, and I found that this, that. You know, so that's why
Oh my god, that's crazy.
so,
That's really crazy.
so you have to ensure that you set down those ground rules,
Grand rule.
and it's something that's very important that mentees understand that they shouldn't abuse access, because once you if you don't do your research, even if you are calling at the right time to ask that question without doing your research,
Yeah.
it's like losing the access. Let the person even know, okay, I read this up and I went this, I was facing this challenge, I had to do this, do that, and still it's not working for me, and I
It
just
didn't
said, let
work.
me,
Yeah.
and the
Reach
person now
out.
knows, oh, you have done something. But not that you
Mm.
haven't done anything and you're calling the person up for something that you can actually go online and find out. So those are some of the things that you have to really let them know at the beginning so that there's no like people feeling hurt and
Okay.
while the program is going on and things
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, for those watching, you could leave questions in the comments, and then we'll pick up the questions. Uh, while we wait for the questions, we'll maybe wait for maybe another 2 or 3 minutes. While we wait for the questions, let me ask you now. I know this was not in the talking points I sent to you. So, you've
You
mentioned
said
once or
something.
twice that you have. Yeah,
You
I
said you
did.
said
I sent
something.
to you. Yeah, I sent talking points to you on LinkedIn. I don't know if you saw it or I don't know. You probably didn't even look at it. Okay, so
Sorry.
you've mentioned once or twice. No, it's fine. It's totally fine. You've been doing amazing so far. I had assumed all the while that you saw the talking point, and that's why we've just been flowing without any break. So it means that you are really the queen, the Mama Agba of mentorship.
Started.
Okay, so so basically, you've mentioned once or twice that you have programs and you handle mentorship for organizations, whether they be big corporations or startups and things like that. How can people access this program? So for anyone that's watching now, for anyone that is listening, how can they access this program?
Okay, so because the program is not one size fits all, because a lot of times
Okay.
what people come in for, some people can call you to set up a mentoring program for skill acquisition. It will be different
Okay.
from setting up a mentoring program for leadership succession. It will be different from setting up a
Okay.
mentoring program for female leadership. It's different from setting up a
Mm.
mentor. They just differ. So with the
Okay.
objective that people have, that's what we will now look at, and we'll now draft out at least two different scopes of mentorship that we'll now offer them, and we'll be able to now rework it. Maybe from the one they picked, we'll now be able to rework it so that it fits
Mm.
the organization. And at the end of the day, the objective for the mentorship is achieved.
All right. So
So that's really
how can someone book you now at Caris Advisory to help them structure this kind of program?
okay. So if you go online on our site
Okay.
carisadvisory.com, or you can put the
Okay.
www.carisadvisory.com. There's a
Okay.
place where you have this WhatsApp, chat with us. So if you click on
Okay.
that, we'll be able to, yeah, speak with you.
Okay. Okay. So obviously that is online. So you can visit to book you. We can visit carisadvisory.com, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. All right. So for those of you that don't know, Madam Chinonye, she's the senior partner at CarrotAdvisory.com or the Carrot Advisory Company, and they handle everything that has to do with trainings, mentorship program setup, and things like that. So I'm going to put it up on the screen now for those of you watching so that you can see it for yourself and you can just quickly visit them and book a session with them. I suggest and I strongly advise that as a business owner, you should visit this website and reach out to Madam Chinoye so that she can help you walk around how to build a mentorship program that probably, like she mentioned, leadership succession is one of the most important things because you grow to a point in your company and you want to hand over. For example, I don't want to be CEO all through my life, obviously. I want to be able to hand over to someone that would probably run the company exactly the way I would run the company if I was still CEO. I have a time frame in mind when I want, to step away from being CEO and then hand over that position to someone else. Same thing when it comes to departmental growth and all of the things you've mentioned earlier. So I strongly advise, if you are watching and if you are listening right now, visit carisadversary.com. That is KARISADVISORY.com. If you just, I'll put it in the description of this video for those of you watching on YouTube and on Facebook, on LinkedIn, whatever platform you're going to be seeing this as a replay. I'm going to put this up so that you too can also visit them and get expert advice, expert structure on your system. It seems we are not getting any questions from the comments. Well, however, let us go on. So, what are your final comments? What are your closing words as we wrap up?
Okay, so since we are talking to startups, I'll say every startup needs potentials, potentials that would help them grow, and this is
Okay.
found in humans. And
Yeah.
if you really want to attract this potential and you want to engage them, engagement, employee satisfaction is different from employee engagement, because a satisfied employee can still be looking out for other organizations. But then with mentorship, you can engage them, meaning that they are engaged. They don't have time to start looking around and hoping to hop around, right? So with
Yeah.
mentorship, you attract your the best talent. With mentorship, you can engage the best talent, and with mentorship, you can retain the best talent. So what are you waiting for? If you really want to optimize, your employee performance, then you should be looking at mentoring, because with mentoring, mentors do the work of helping the mentees to shorten the learning curve and also to grow the productivity within the organization. So that's my last my parting words.
All right. Thank you so much. I really, really do appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. So, for those watching, for those of you listening, you might not be able to see what is going to happen next. But for those of you watching, my son has been around. Don't run away now. Come, come, come. My son has been around. He's been trying to distract me, and he's been wondering. He said he wants to say hello. So, for those of you watching, come and say hello. Say hello. Hello. Yeah. Say,
Hi,
say
how are you?
yeah. So he's always interested in what I'm doing and what I'm sharing, and
Wow, that's beautiful.
he'll always want to say, "Oh, I want to come and say hello to the people you are talking to, and everybody. I want to say hello to the people you are teaching. So say hello to everybody
You're
now."
mentoring him. You're mentoring him.
Yeah. whether whether we like it or not, I always tell people, because I always tell people that as a teacher, I had learned that I worked, for those that don't know, I worked as a teacher for 13 years as a school teacher before going full time into entrepreneurship. So whether you like it or not, kids learn from what they see. This what they
Yeah.
see you do. So these days, even when he is playing, you just see him carry toys, and he's also talking like he's talking to the laptop too. And then he'll tell me, "Daddy, I'm having a meeting. I'm having a meeting," and it's very interesting. All right, and even as business owners, like you just said, whether we like it or not, I'm already mentoring him, to look like and behave like me, the way I behave. And then tomorrow you now wonder, oh, why is he interested in the business that his father is also running, and things like that. So thank you so much, Madam Chinonye. Thank you for your time. Thank you for honoring our invitation on such short notice. And I really appreciate everything you do. Like I said, we see everything you do, and we know that you are killing it. You are killing it, and that is why we brought you here, so that you can share that wealth of knowledge with us. Thank you so much. All right, guys. So, for those of you that are still watching, if you've not gotten my book yet, right, 5x Income and Business Growth Strategies, if you've not gotten it yet, mentorship and building of network is one of the things that I talked about in this book. All right. So we've also, I'll put a link in the description so that you can also get the book. I want to appreciate you for those that watch, for those that are going to watch the replay. Thank you so much for joining the show. And it's a wrap. I'll see you again next time. Bye bye.